Hey guys, welcome to part 2 of Can I Do It? Or is it Can I Fix It? I don't know, you guys know. Since that video was made, I've made some major enhancements to the armor. That being said, it took a lot of time. I probably put at least 24 hours into the armor so far, and it's still not where it should be. While those achievements were small, I was still able to do some major enhancements and be able to see what all needs to be done. Without further ado, I give you Stormy the Shock. This, my friends, is Stormy the Shock. That's what I call Stormy the Shock, at least. As you can see, it is on a mannequin right now. He's missing his hand and his other vambrace right now, but that is due to me trying to repaint it. As you can see, there are quite a few issues with the armor set that are immediately noticeable. Number one, this is shifted over, as you can see. It should not be like that. On a person, it's not as bad as that. It's mostly due to the fact that it's held up by, it's a suspender, so it goes all the way up, like shown, and it just curves on the mannequin, so it's not as bad. But what doesn't help is this belt kind of like sagging a little bit. So this is the progress I've made. I've made some major enhancements. I was going to do a part 2 video before this, and the enhancements weren't as noticeable. I put a full day into that armor suit, or into that video, but I'm not going to release it. Essentially what I did is I removed all the duct tape within the suspenders. It was literally padded with duct tape pretty much. So I removed it all. I pretty much started from scratch. And there's little to none duct tape. I say that because there are a few areas where I allow it. Like right here, this is just a Velcro strap that's held, kind of just suspends via duct tape, which gets the job done. I don't need any other form of leather or whatever. I mean, this works fine for what the armor set is. This armor is quite flexible, not exactly high quality. As you can see, this just fell off right now. Not super great. I left most of the duct tape that was in here before, holding up these pieces, because it's just a few pieces here and there. Nothing super major. There were a few places, like the vambraces here, where there was cardboard as some sort of padding where should be some sort of foam. I removed most of it there, but kept a little bit there in order for it to kind of just stay on the mannequin. Because right now I'm just kind of eyeballing what needs to be done as far as that goes. So another thing I noticed was the thighs were way too large. And that's what I realized was preventing me in my armor from like walking around at all. Thigh plate, or the shin plates here are fine. They're about what they should be, but they don't. These top thigh pieces don't work, so I'm gonna have to figure out a solution to that. The way this all works, it kind of curves up, so I wouldn't be able to do much. It's size how it should be, I guess, but it's just oversized for the armor set. Another thing I noticed was the stuff isn't trimmed quite nicely. So there's little cuts where there shouldn't exactly be cuts here and there. Also, these pieces were like glued on somehow, and they weren't cut really nicely either. See how it's quite jagged, and see how it should be like a square right there. It seemed like it chipped off at some point. So that's pretty much the armor. Another thing was I used kitchen gloves for the gloves. If you're gonna start doing your cosplay, if you're under a really tight budget of like $100, sure, use this. But if you're gonna want to make a like $500 suit to $1,000, maybe $1,500, you want to use actual gloves. If you don't want to cheap out, because this is a really cheap alternative. Go to Walmart, get like $1 for, I don't know, a pair of these or even more. So don't use these. Velcro will not stick to them, like shown here. So right now I'm gonna have to pull these off and pretty much start from scratch as far as the gloves go, which shouldn't be too difficult, because thankfully some people on Instagram have helped me out, pointing me in the right direction. So yeah, and if this mannequin had been another inch taller, as you can see, this would not have worked at all. There is a good 4 inches, 5 inches of clearance right here that shouldn't be there. So quite lucky with that, but it looks fine from the front side. I'm gonna eventually take all the armor off and spray paint the mannequin. So it looks like there's a black jumpsuit underneath. I can't put my jumpsuit on because the way it's held up by a little metal pole on the back right here. This is the only mannequin that I could find that was not $500. This is about $99, I think. It has separate fingers, so you can put gloves on it with no problem. It took me a minute to kind of wiggle them on there correctly, but other than that, worked great. As far as the helmet goes, some further research was done. The mic system inside is an ICOM set, which I was told is worth the whole entire value of what I paid for this armor kit, which is actually quite nice. So I'm not going to be complaining to the seller anymore. So that's quite nice. The helmet, I believe, is a Hasbro, like a Black Series helmet. It was probably originally like 3 pieces or so. Eventually going to repaint this all. Probably just going to make it a generic Stormtrooper and then eventually maybe add the red markings back on at some point, because it's so much work at one time to paint it back red. This leather polish you used before, not going to cut it for me. So I'm going to use 3 different colors, I believe. So we're going to use like a brown, some sort of orangey tan, and some black over here. And then we're going to just weather it from scratch. I'm probably just going to make it some sort of Stormtrooper instead of a shock, just to keep it a bit more simple, and avoid any complications. And eventually, if I just want to change it up, I can always change it back to a shock or any other trooper from that's Stormtrooper. The boots, they're okay. They're quite tight to put on. I kind of struggled. I had all the armor on the mannequin, and I'm like, okay, this is gonna be difficult since I had to lift the whole entire mannequin and put the boots on, because you can't move the feet at all, so they're kind of stuck in this position. You gotta slide them on. Another great addition, I want to base this character off of the Mandalorian TV show era. So like he's getting paid as a mercenary to do Empire work, much like the Empire operatives shown. So I got these really nice credit from Instagram. They're decent. They're resin cast, so they're not exactly perfect. They weren't primed, so they're quite gritty. And the casting is kind of eh. But for the look I want to give him, Stormy will be paid handsomely for his work. With that being said, that's about it for updates as far as Stormtrooper goes. Yeah, that's it for now. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you do appreciate my content, please leave a sub and like and dislike. Really doesn't matter. I appreciate your feedback either way. It's free and it matters a lot to me. We're about to get 1,000 subs, which I really do appreciate you guys. If you guys want to follow me and support me in any way, check the links in the description. Follow me on Twitch. Follow me on Instagram. Follow me on both my Instagram accounts. I have 2. So if you guys want to support me, also by buying my own products, both cosplay and Lego Star Wars, check eBay and my own website, link in the description. Thank you guys so much for tuning in again. This has been I'm out.